We've talked about the cotton house and the cotton gin. Actually, the house is huge, the cotton gin itself, and frequently people confuse it. They say, look at your cotton gin. Well, the cotton gin itself, like I say, is the size of a card table that you can see inside. The humongous logs here of this cotton gin, some of these logs are 40 feet long. Now, you got the cotton gin, you're ginning the cotton, and by the way, my mother-in-law had to take several friends of hers that lived nearby to gin, to pick cotton to have it available to gin. The new machinery pick cotton will not gin in this early cotton gin. Now, so we had to have a place to bale it. This is a cotton baler as I'm standing in front of you. Tommy Tucker, a master woodwright, designed and built this one. I think he had built one in Laurinburg for them. Trees were cut out here, and if you look at the nut itself, those 4 pieces of timbers probably weigh over 1,000 pounds. We built the entire screw and nut underneath the cotton gin here, or the cotton house. And it was interesting to watch him. You know, I did some of the physical work, putting the holes, it's all pegged and mortised together. And as he was building it, and to cut the screw to match that nut, I never did figure out how he did it. But as we would turn it on a big, huge bar, we would turn that cotton, the screw part into that nut. And if it didn't go, we'd back it out and he'd get in there and chisel it. And the way he did it, he took the bluing, you know, like chalk line bluing, he'd mix it with water and he would paint where it wouldn't go. And then we'd tighten it and you could see where that was catching in that screw, and he'd go in and chisel it out. And about 2 or 3 days later, we had it going through that nut just as easy as it could go. So, like I say, Tommy is a master woodwright. He also designed or didn't design, but actually built the covered bridge that we have across the lake. So, now, come over during our festival and watch them gin cotton and also bale it. The first bale of cotton that was baled at Hart Square is upstairs inside the cotton gin, or the cotton house. I think that this is the only place in the world that you'll see a 500-pound bale of cotton ginned and then baled here at Hart Square. And now if you come out and you'll see Tommy Tucker, he'll give you a demonstration of how baling cotton was in the 1800s. Yeah.
My name is Tom Tucker. We're here at Hart Square, and we're going to demonstrate the process of baling cotton today like they did in the late 1700s, early 1800s. This is a wooden screw cotton press built right here on the property out of local timber in 1998. Built right down here in the woods. Took about 3 months to build this press, all of it done by hand. The first process of baling cotton, and we're going to probably make about a 500-pound bale today. The first process is have my cotton toters. The cotton is ginned in the cotton gin, where they separate the lint from the seed. The lint goes into a collection room here. Cotton toters are gathered up and put it in hand-woven baskets and bring it out to the press. And then the cotton will be toted up these steps to the loader's position. Takes about 30 to 35 baskets to make a 500-pound bale of cotton. Go ahead and load it in. That's good. Once all the cotton is loaded, then we use the mule. Now the mule is the star of this operation. We use the mule for 2 things. The mule acts as a brake and it acts as a press. When we're in the load position of the cotton press, the mule is hooked up to the breastplate and actually keeps the press from spinning out of control, getting too fast. Gravity does most of the work, but we can't do it without our friend Butch. As soon as Hall gets the cotton put in, we'll go into a press mode. The process of baling cotton was a very labor-intensive process. It took, obviously, the ginner a team of mules to run the gin. It took cotton toters, loaders, and mule tenders to actually make a bale. A good crew on a good day with good cotton and something good to eat probably could do 2 to 3 bales a day, which was good money in the early 1800s. You ready, Hall?
Ready.
All right, let's go to press. You can see that gravity's doing most of the work. The cotton press is actually freewheeling. Again, the mule just acts as a brake to keep it from getting out of control. Yes, go the other way. Now we're in a load position. You can see the mule is turned around, it's hooked to a single tree, and we're pulling the press back up to a position where we start putting more cotton in. That's good. All right, this is the cotton press once we've got cotton loaded into the press. Now, if you want to see a fully pressed bale, you're going to have to come to the festival in October. But this is where it starts. This is the loose cotton that's been ginned. The seed has been separated from the lint, and we brought it out of the collection house. We've loaded it into the press, and this is the beginning of a 500-pound bale. The reason the cotton press was invented was after Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in the early 1790s, they could literally gin more cotton in a day than they could ship. And originally, loose lint was hauled to the ports along the North Carolina, South Carolina coast, and was literally packed into the holds of ships bound for England, because there weren't any finishing mills in America. All of the cotton was finished in England. That's another story for another time, but the loose lint had to be packed into the holds of the ships, and people would literally get into the bottom of the ships and jump up and down to pack this cotton. One invention leads to another. The cotton press was invented so that we could compress this cotton into a 500-pound bale. And generally it takes about 1,500 pounds of ginned raw lint to make a 500-pound bale. So once the cotton press was invented, they could haul compressed cotton to the ports. It could be loaded. They could ship much more cotton to the finishing mills in England than they could originally. This press took about 3 months to make. It was again cut from local timber on the property. The screw was made by hand right over here under the cotton gin. Took about a month to make the screw. The nut internal threads is 4/4 of white oak, approximately 4 feet long, 18 inches in square. And it took about 2 months to cut the internal threads inside the nut. A very rewarding process. Patience, persistence, and perspiration with a mallet and a gouge to carve out the internal threads. The wooden screw press has been in existence since 1793. And there's something magical about those threads. That's a 9-inch pitch. Every revolution that the screw turns, it moves up or down 9 inches. And again, there's something magical about that particular pitch that these people figured out 200 years ago. This press, without Butch the mule, will freewheel itself right into the ground. It works so well. And for a long time, wooden screw presses were used in North and South Carolina. As the Industrial Revolution came along, they went over to metal screws, but they found out they didn't work as well. So after a few years of using metal screws, for a short period of time, everybody reverted back to wooden screw presses because they just worked so well. And this one is just an example of how well that wooden screw works. And the timbers, the base that you see that the press is setting on, again, local timbers. There's a certain amount of weight here. I don't know what the press weighs, but gravity does all of the work to make a 500-pound bale of cotton. Once we get it loaded, we just take the mule for just a couple of rounds and compact it and press it, and we've got a bale.